Hello, Eurovoxes! Welcome back. We're Clara and Elliot. How are you, Elliot?
I'm very well. How are you, Clara?
I'm sparkly and wonderful, thank you. And we are here to talk about A Dal, right?
Yes, our favourites from the 30 strong selection.
Yes. So we are going to do our top five of the Hungarian selection 2019. And Elliot, why don't you take it away?
Of course. Well, my fifth favourite is actually a name we know from A Dal. It's Leander Kills.
Te vagy szívem választottja, vigyél engem haza. Bármit felépítek én neked, ha te felépítesz engem.
I have not been the biggest fan of their previous entries, but this one, it's a bit more folksy, a bit, for lack of a better word, almost like an Irish jig sort of feel. Like it's got that foot stomp, it's got that sort of like violin going through it, and it makes it more of a jig than a heavy rock song. And I love sort of like folksy sort of songs like Hear Them Calling, Circle Flight from MK. Like if it's got a folk sound, I'm normally going to enjoy it. So I really enjoy it, and we know they can sing, and we know they can do well, so this could be the year for Leander Kills finally.
I don't have him on my top five, but I really enjoyed the song. The violin was like this surprise element. It really dragged me into the song. However, for me, it didn't stand out. When I think globally, Eurovision-wise, either they put some strong visuals or some strong staging, because as we remember, Can You Hear Them Calling was a wonderful song, but it didn't qualify. So it needed something else it was still in my top 10, but it didn't make it to my top 5. However, on my number 5th place, you're gonna disagree with me on this one, but it's Fatal Error.
Azelőtt megtalállak téged, mielőtt egy gondolat szembe jönne. Azok a furcsa hangok, amiket hallasz az éjjel, én vagyok a sötétben. Megtaláltam a kulcsot hozzád, lenyeltem jó mélyre, lezártam szívednek.
I know, but like, I think thanks to AWS, Eurovision has proved that rock and heavy metal friendly, or like there's space for this kind of bands to perform. So I could see that in this year, the adult selection, there was more rock entries than usual. And I think that's wonderful, especially for those who love rock. And out of all the bands, the rock bands, because I feel like if there's many rock bands, they cancel each other. I think that Fatal Error was the one that I feel could connect better with an audience that doesn't necessarily like the rock genre. I mean, it was a very well-produced rock track. I like that there was a lot of space for the instrumental part, so because that's a big part of a rock band. It's not just the vocalist and like the staging, so the music element is really strong in those bands. And yeah, I think they could make a really good party on stage.
Yeah, this is nowhere near my top 5 personally. I did like Vizlatnar though, I will give it that. And yeah, Hungary do like their rock songs, but this has been a massive influence, I think, because there's a lot more rock than even by Adele standards, it feels like. Yeah, it's not for me, but they could completely sell it on stage, because I wasn't convinced by Vizlatnar when I first heard it, but I saw them do it live, and then it did become a potential dark horse within the fandom. It didn't happen, but we weren't exactly discounting them maybe getting a shock win in Lisbon. Like, I was fully prepared to see AWS win it. Just because it was so visually arresting.
Mm-hmm. So who's number 4 for you?
Number 4 is very, very different from my number 5. It's actually Rosina Patkai with Frida.
Maybe I will always feel that pain. No one else around, never safe and sound. A broken branch in the royal wind.
This is very haunting. The verses are very quiet and soulful, like it drags you in, and then it has this almost like electronic chorus, so it's very different, but it works for me in a way. And I love a female vocal over some sort of electronica sort of thing. Like I loved Blanche, and like this is some things I really gravitate to. but it's really sort of different, and it starts off really mysterious, and it does lend itself to some really sort of atmospheric staging and changing, and yeah, it really sort of like drew me in. It kept me going until the chorus. It's like, where is this going? Like, this could go somewhere. And I'm glad it did change, because if it stayed at that sort of like quiet sort of going along thing for 3 minutes, I could have tuned out. But because it has those spurts and it changes, it sticks in my head. So that's why it's as high as it is, and I really like it. And Hungary haven't sent a female since Catty Wolf, I think. Oh no, Boggy. They did send Boggy.
Yeah.
Forgot about that one. Whoops.
I agree. There's something very mysterious on that song, and it really drags you to watch and not tune out, as you said. But however, she's not on my top 5 either. Ooh, I like that we have very different opinions. That's what Eurovision is for. I love this. My number 4 is Konya, or Konyha. I don't know how to pronounce that. So I'm glad that we're not even attempting to pronounce the name of the songs.
Ott ragadtam egy 100-szor visszajátszott pillanatban, ami 101-szer is szép, 101-szer is szép. Ott ragadtam, hiába hívhat bárki, én megmondtam, maradok 101-szer is még.
So I like, because it's modern, but without being like very drilling, because I feel some of the beats and some of the synths in some of these modern up-tempo songs are very, very drilling, and it's just like very, I don't know, like scratching in my ears. So this one is elegant, at the same time being modern. It maybe needs to be a little more intense, but I didn't feel tired of this song. Some of these songs made me want to, okay, after a minute and a half, I think I know how the whole song goes. I got a clear picture, but this one kept me wanting to listen to it. So good for them.
Yeah, it lost it for me a bit, but I can totally see why. But for me, I did sort of like tune out, but this is like when I was in the middle of really listening to them, so I was starting to wane slightly, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. But yeah, on stage in a smaller semi-final or a heat, this could really stand out, I feel. So Hungary are really sending some good stuff this year, which makes me excited for the 6 weeks of shows. My third place is another returning artist. It's Olivier Berkes, who I think made the super final last year with Lighthouse.
Én lennék a támasz, minden fájó kérdésedre válasz. Ha elvesznél az éjben, leszek én az a fény, a világító torony tetején, hogy hazatalál.
See, now he's released a version in Hungarian and English, so I don't know which version he's actually going to sing. It's listed that he's singing the English version, but I have no idea. But this is very, for lack of a better term, Ed Sheeran-y. It's got the waltzing melody, he's got a very soft voice, it's very flowy, it's got some very nice lyrics to it, and it's just very pleasant. And that's what I like about it. It's not like in, like, say, the sea of synth and rock. Having something very just understated and calm could really tip it over the edge. If it gets to Eurovision, I'm not sure how well it would do, because it could easily get forgotten if it gets stuck around some bigger, more exciting tracks. But yeah, this is arguably the simplest song, and it's probably just going to be him on stage with a guitar, which is all this song really needs.
Yeah, I agree with you. I really like Oliver Berkes' song. I have it on my list, but I'm not going to reveal on which position yet. But I agree with you. I think also the strong point of this song is when paired with really overproduced tracks, the listener needs some rest. So this is a good breather from all of this. If we pair many songs like, I don't know, on the style of Fuego next to Neta, a song like Neta, at the end it's all very visual and saturated, so we need a song that's different. So I think Olivia does this very well. But my number 3 is The Middletons with Roses.
Roses, roses, cause she never noticed. Poems, poems, read them and she tore them. She's a killer, but I need her. Sit me down, but she keeps on digging deeper. Got her for the roses. She took my heart and broke it. She got me feeling hopeless. My everyday's gone.
I don't know. Well, it's Calandras. He's returning. Also, it's nice to see the returning face. And for me, they've done a really good marketing with this song because I have heard it before. I don't know, like through the YouTube videos, it always played. So maybe it's my algorithm searcher. But I really like the song. It sticks in my head. I think it's strong. It's very stageable. And Calandras is very experienced on this, so I'm quite sure he will know how to push it to the final.
Yeah, I see this in the final. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I will just outright say I'm not the biggest Andrei Calassonis fan. I wasn't a huge fan of Running. I didn't like his other A Dal entries since. I think he's had one or two since he's competed when he won. It's not completely for me. I'm just not a big fan of his music. Can I see this doing well? Of course I can. Can I see this winning? Again, yes, because he's also got the marketing of it's Andrei Calassonis behind him. And if they put a good show with it and a good package, it could work. It's just, yeah, I'm just not the biggest fan of when he's in a group, because a few years ago he did a song called 17, and that just was just, I want to say too try-hard. Like, it was an R&B song and you could very clearly see that's what it was, and then they just threw everything at it, so it was a bit of a mess. But yeah, I can see this doing very well. I can see this being very popular with fans, and all the best for him. It's just not in my personal top 5, but by the time if it wins and gets to Tel Aviv, I could really enjoy it after several months of it. Who knows?
Yeah, this is the kind of song like you listen to it again and again, and then you get into it.
Right. Runner up is Diana with Little Bird, and the only word I have for this is stunning.
So give me more, not you, not me, not the hope and the world that could live without some love. So why don't you give me more?
Her voice is beautiful. She carries this song really lovely. I don't know, it just made me think, like, I love songs that tell a story. I know how cliched that sounds, but I am a sort of person who really gravitates to lyrics and melodies, and if I can put myself in a situation or I can feel a connection to a song, I'm going to like it 1,000 times more. An example of this is Ayeva's song this year, because I want to have that emotion that she has in that song one day, and I think everyone can attest themselves to that song. But this is just absolutely stunning. It's so simple and so just easy, and her voice is just so beautiful. And if she does this live, it's complete jury gold, because she has a beautiful voice. So I hopefully will see this at least in the semi-finals. But I think if she can nail it live with her voice, this could do really, really, really well, and I really love it. I really like this song.
I agree with what you say. I really like also a song that tells a story. However, she's not in my top 5, but because as you said, it's simple, it's beautiful. Maybe it's less impressive, for a lack of a better word. Impressive is, in my opinion, it's what's lacking. She is a great performer, great vocalist. I really enjoyed listening to the song, but when I thought about like Eurovision-wise, maybe they revamped it a slightly bit, but I don't know. It's a really good song. It's just not on my personal top 5. On my number 2, I have Walston and the Yes Yes, Incomplete.
You told me you never leave, but now it's been a struggle. You left me so incomplete. You're like a missing puzzle. You told me you never leave, but now it's been a struggle.
I don't know, it's just very cool and young and modern and intense. So I think it's a song you can listen to it many times without getting tired of it. So for me, it could really place very well.
Well, I'm glad you said them, because they're my winner.
Oh, wonderful!
I loved this on first listen, and as much as I love a lot of my top 5, this is just another step above the other 4, personally. Adam Sasbo is just an incredible singer. Like, he has that perfect voice that goes with this style of music, because it's sort of rocky, but there's also the sort of synth and electro element. He carries it off really well. You can really hear the emotion in his voice as well. It sounds believable. It sounds real. And this is fantastic. And obviously they came so close last year with I Let You Run Away. And I really like that song as well. So I'm glad they came back, and I'm glad their song is just as good as their previous entry. And yeah, hands down, this is my winner for Hungary. So yeah, I love this. I think this is brilliant. I really like it. And it's like I've listened to it several times and I'm not bored of it yet.
Yeah, exactly. You can hear it again and again, and it just grows stronger. And I think it has a lot of potential to place really well on the actual contest. The only reason why I didn't put it on my top one, on my first position, and my first position is Oliver Berkes, is because I pictured Neta won. Usually countries tend to imitate the winner. So I feel we're going to see a lot of very produced disco dance tracks. And I think at some point this year, the winner will be the one that sends something different. So in my mind, Oliver Berkes is the one that sends this breathable, more laid-back tune. But it's also really intense. And I think usually also people try to... What worked last year, what worked for that particular country last year, they will also try to take it once again. So I fear that if Hungary was going to take another rock band, it won't place as good, because we've already seen this from Hungary. But taking something so different from AWS as Oliver Berkes, I think would be a good move.
Yeah, I think they are I don't want to say just put money on it now, but I think they will be the two, not pitted against each other, but I think will divide A Dal, because they are so different. And it's a case of, you could argue for why each would do well and maybe not do so well at Eurovision. I agree that Oliver's song would be very simple and a nice breath of fresh air, whereas if everyone is trying to go down the dance route, having something a bit more electronic and powerful could stand out as well. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see, because yeah, it's really strong this year, Dal. I'm quite impressed.
I am. I didn't know how to place on my top 5, because there's so many songs I like Little Bird. It didn't make on my top 5, but I would like to see it being performed on Eurovision.
Yeah, so it's all going to come down to the live performances in the shows.
Definitely.
It seems, which is quite scary.
But guys, what do you think about our top 5? Do you agree with Elliot? Do you agree with me? What is your personal opinion? Let us know in the comments down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe and give us a thumbs up and, all the drill, and follow us on our social media, because we're cool and fresh, and I normally don't look like a disco ball, but tonight was an exception.
We get dressed up for Hungary.
Yes, everything for Hungary. Bye then.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.